Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes, a Bachelor Nation podcast. I'm Sampy, a Bachelor newbie.
And I'm Christy, a veteran. Join us as we take on season 25 of The Bachelor together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hometowns Week. Wow, we've made it so far, Christy.
Yeah, it's Meet the Family Week.
Oh, yeah, down to 4 people. Anything we should be aware of in Bachelor Nation as a whole? I mean, still fallout from the whole Rachael situation, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's speculation that Chris might not be coming back, but nobody seems to know for sure at this moment.
I also saw some speculation that they might be considering canning the Women Tell All episode as well this morning.
Yeah, I saw that, but then
know.
last night we had the preview for it for next week. So
Yeah, I don't know how reliable that is. It just seems a little pointless to record it all and then not do anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to scrap the whole thing. Like, if they do that, then how do you just jump from, like, you're missing a whole week there?
Yeah, and, I mean, if they're really trying to minimize Chris Harris, I mean, I guess maybe you think that speculation is because he has more of an active role in the Women Tell All episode versus, like, a normal, like, this episode, for example, with the hometowns. He showed up like twice.
Yeah, with the Women Tell All, he's like moderating all this yelling and screaming, so it's hard to cut him out.
Okay.
Like he comes, you see him like at the beginning of each segment and then at the end of each segment as they go in and out of commercial break.
Okay, so that maybe makes a little bit more sense why they would be considering it. Again, I don't know how reliable those rumors are.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they're gonna cut that, well, I mean, how much of an active role does he have in the final 2 episodes?
With Fantasy Suites.
The Fantasy Suites and then the final rose, I guess.
The Fantasy Suites, you could easily cut him out. You would only see him at that final 3 rose ceremony for like a second or two.
Mm-hmm.
With the final episode, where there's usually a proposal, he usually greets the final 2 people as they march up to the podium. So,
and I'm sure he has to like do the phone call, or it's like, "Hey, Neil Lane, yeah, we need another diamond, man."
Yeah, actually, you don't usually see him with Neil Lane.
Oh, really?
Usually, there's like a knock on the door, and like Neil Lane would just show up at Matt's place with like a box of rings.
Okay, I guess. Maybe. Do you think that was just because of how drastically shorter Claire's season was? So it was not normal timing, and so that's why they were like, "Oh, let's just show."
Yeah,
him contacting
that was. I'd never seen that before. Actually,
Okay.
Now that I think about it.
All right. See, I am basing some assumptions off of a very weird season that I saw half of.
Yeah. Yeah, that was odd. Like Neil Lane, like on FaceTime.
What is this world coming to? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was crazy. Speaking of that season, Claire and Dale are like back together apparently.
Allegedly, yeah. I've seen some pictures with them together and like somewhere in Florida, I guess.
Yeah, just making out on the beach. Like, I don't know. After both of them went to the tabloids and talked about how things weren't great, and Claire asked for breakup songs on her Instagram, and I don't understand.
I don't either. I mean, unless it was all an act.
Well, that's a possibility, but I'd like to think they didn't break up just for publicity, but who knows?
Look, this is an interesting world that we live in, and things happen. People do things out of self-interest.
Well, they're certainly getting a lot of attention now.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely he at least definitely wants attention, right? Because he has the modeling career. I don't know so much about her and what she has going on.
I don't know. She's a hairdresser who was just seemed to be living her life all these years. So she seems less fame focused than he does. But
yeah, that's what I kind of had thought. But I never know about these people, Christy. I never know. Yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on. Will they end up again and back together again? Did Dale be like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll have kids with you. Because that seemed like a big point of contention. I just remember, was it like the interview after the fact with Chris, where she was like, "Yeah, like I want 1,000,000 babies," or he's I forget exactly what happened, but basically he was asking about kids, and she's like, "Yes, yesterday," and Dale's like.
Yeah,
Kind of freaking out, like his face just like goes all white and ashy.
Yeah, he does not seem to be ready for that.
No, she's very old for for the Bachelor franchise, but is he pretty young? Is he a bunch younger than she is?
I want to say he's like 30.
Okay, so
maybe
that's not young.
No, it's not like he's 25 or anything.
Or 21, like kid. Man. Wow. That was quite a half season.
Yeah, actually, the rest of that season was really good too.
Yeah, so I heard that. I just was like, this is super weird, and I stopped watching.
Yeah, it was a strange half and half season, but actually Tayshia's part was probably one of my favorite Bachelorette seasons ever.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed like a pretty decent person from the little bit that I saw, but it was just, I'd experienced so much pain over the previous 4 episodes that I just couldn't continue until you forced me to co-host the podcast. And here we are. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, always something with Bachelor Nation. I'm not particularly attached to Chris Harrison, as our listeners know. I think you've said that you would continue watching, that you're just addicted to all this drama no matter what happens.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
It would be interesting to see if the other however many million people feel the same way, or if they'll all get very, very angry if they replace him permanently.
Chris's role on the show is so minor anyway that I don't see why people would be that upset if he left.
Yeah, I guess he's just associated himself so much with it. Does he or has he done anything else? What is his deal? Because I guess he's been with The Bachelor for a very long time, but what did he do before that?
I think he was working in TV before this, but it was, I think, much more minor.
Was he trying role. Was he trying to be a sort of a Seacrest type character?
I don't think they thought The Bachelor would become what it was when he took the role. I think it was just I'll host this, but
okay.
I think I've heard him say in interviews that he had no idea it would bloom into what it did.
Okay. Well, if he gets canned, at least he has his book sales.
Yeah, not to mention he makes so much money from this show. He could never work another day and be fine.
How much do they pay him for his 10 minutes of involvement?
I couldn't find exact numbers. I saw anywhere from $2 to $8 million per year. Eesh. And he's been doing this since 2002. So he'll be fine if he gets canned. He's set for life.
Yeah, that's a part of the thing I kind of chuckle at when people get super upset with famous people getting so-called canceled.
Yeah.
It's like, look, like I may understand like the idea of, we don't want to like purge people from other ideologies, like from existence, but also this person will be fine. Like, not to bring too much external controversy to this show from outside, but like the whole Gina Carano situation, unless she was like spending money ridiculously fast, like I'm sure she made a ton of money from her MMA career. Like that's how she exploded. You know, she was being paid by Disney for 2 years for The Mandalorian. You know, she was in Deadpool. Like, presumably she has, you know, a few million stocked away somewhere, you know, like.
Yeah, she's in a much better position than the average person getting fired, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know, if most of us got fired, it would be a little bit of a different situation. But yeah, interesting stuff. So should we talk about this episode? I feel like there isn't necessarily a whole lot going on, a whole lot to talk about. Now that we are down to such a small, select few here.
Yeah, not to mention hometown episodes tend to be very repetitive. It's kind of the same song and dance 4 times.
Like, oh yeah, I care about your daughter way more than anybody else that I've been dating over these past few weeks. I'm falling in love with her.
I could see a future with her.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Is Matt even worse than sort of your average bachelor here? Because as we've discussed before, he sort of has a few go-to catchphrases, like, you know, thank you for telling me that, all of those different things. Do you think that he was a little bit even more repetitive than a normal bachelor in this situation?
I don't think so. I think this is pretty standard.
I mean, it does lend itself to that repetition because they're really just trying to tell the family what they want to hear.
Yeah, it's always funny to me, like hometown after hometown, just trying to convince them that, oh, your daughter is more special than the rest. But now they're starting to show the family saying things like, well, I know you have 3 other women, and then the bachelor has to try and like still convince them, like, hey, she's better.
Yeah, but she's like the best of them for sure, definitely. I'm not sending her home after this.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, Chris makes an appearance to just tell the women it's hometowns. Like they didn't already know that, but
yeah, they should have just cut him.
Yeah, that was an easy one they could have cut, but
yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, we have Michelle is up first.
Yeah, which I don't know. I guess I would say I think that I like Michelle the best of all of them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. She seems cool and like down to earth, grounded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. You know what's super weird? Was this a producer thing or what? Because they both showed up and they were both wearing the same exact shade purple shirt.
Yeah, that seems, it was too close to be a coincidence in my opinion.
I think I would probably agree with you.
I mean, it was literally this. I looked at them when they showed up and I'm like, is that the same shirt? Like, it was like a different style, but it was the same, like lavender.
Yeah, I was going to say lavender as well. Wow. Yeah, it was the exact same shade. Oh, man.
They were even both wearing like black legging type pants too.
Oh, man. Yeah, so they decided to go on this bike ride. Of course, I mean, I don't understand why they allow Matt anywhere near vehicles of any kind. Because he was just swerving all over the place, like
striking out.
I just
as we saw in the tag at the end, he broke his bike.
Oh wow, you're spoiling the end already, Christy.
Well, it fits here, but
yeah, no, he ended up running into her and breaking his bike. Yeah, I was trying to see. I couldn't exactly tell, but it looked like he actually broke part of the rear gear assembly off. Instead, I thought at first that he had just like hit the chain off, but it did actually look like he legit broke the bike.
Yeah, I mean, is this poor quality bike here,
or perhaps poor quality user? I mean, he is the one who flipped the ATV, remember?
That is true.
So I'm gonna blame Matt for that one. Yeah. Yeah, I also...
So then they...
Yeah, go ahead. No.
I was gonna move on.
Yes, let's move on.
They go into an auditorium where all her students are on a screen.
Yeah, good old kid guilt Zoom call.
Yeah, this was... I just wondered about the logistics of this, because they were obviously given questions to ask.
No.
Just weird. Like, like I wrote some of them down, like, have you guys kissed yet? How many girlfriends do you have? Like, these are not questions kids would ask. I feel like.
I don't even remember what the response was, but I just remember, like, being totally unsatisfied with his answer.
Yeah, he just kept laughing. Yeah, a little too hard, in my opinion.
And then, like, with the question, what was it? What's something that Michelle, or I guess Miss Young, taught you? I forget even what he said, but it was just like, really? That's what you say? Yeah. Just a lot of very awkward laughing. Yeah, and when he when he was asked, have you guys kissed yet? He was like, look, we're holding hands. Like, that's how far this relationship has progressed.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is a blatant lie, since in this episode alone, the two of them kissed 5 times.
I wonder what these kids thought as they watched this episode last night.
I don't know if they were allowed to. Like, I feel like they wouldn't have even been allowed to actually watch the episode. Like, maybe. I wouldn't let my elementary age school children, like I wouldn't let my kids watch this show.
Oh, I wouldn't either, but I'm just wondering, the parents are like, oh, the kids are like, I want to see myself on TV.
I mean, I don't know if they even told them that. I mean, I guess I'm sure, obviously the parents knew because they had to get releases and everything. But I wouldn't be totally surprised if they were just like, yeah, kid, you're gonna Zoom call Miss Young and her boyfriend to ask this question.
Oh, okay, and just left the TV part out of it.
I mean, if I was spearheading it, I would have.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. And is this typical? Is this a typical progression, Christy, of hometowns are happening? They sort of have the day to do whatever date nonsense they're gonna do, and then in the evening, then they meet the family. Is that typical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then I guess the parents. That's the whole thing. This episode, there wasn't really a whole lot that happened on any of these dates.
I guess Rachel's had a little bit of drama, but everything else is very standard.
Be standard and, like, short, too, it just seemed like. But yeah, so Michelle's family. So it was just her mom and dad, right?
Yes, her dad, Ephraim, and I did not write down her mom's name.
Yeah, he was a little skeptical.
I love skeptical parents on this show during hometowns. Her dad is concerned about the other women, which is the correct viewpoint. Dad also asked Matt, how is she different from other women?
Which is like, I don't know, I feel like he could have said that exact same thing about any of them.
True, yeah. He said, like, oh, she has strong convictions, the way she carries herself. Yeah, it's very.
Oh, what she wants to accomplish. Yeah, none of the others want to accomplish anything.
Matt said he would move to Minnesota, which.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Because he said that, but then he was also like, I would be open to the discussion.
So, yeah.
The discussion where he says, no, I'm not going to move to Minnesota. Even though I told your dad I would. But let's be real. I feel like she's not going to make it much further.
Yeah. I'm not sure, like, what he's really thinking about her at this point. I feel like he likes her more than Brie and Serena P.
Though, I guess, yeah, okay. Sorry, here's another ignorant about the Bachelor question. So you were telling me that still three people end up going to the fantasy suites. But you were also, weren't you telling me that it's down to a final 3 with the Rose, or is it final 2?
You mean where the proposal happened?
Correct. Where
That's
he has to
final 2.
Okay. So one more person will get eliminated before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was on the correct page as far as that went. Yeah, this was, I don't know, it was all just awfully generic. You know, father being concerned, mother kind of being like, well, like, do you love him?
Yeah. Michelle thinks he could be the one.
Yeah.
They all played basketball, which looked fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was talking about, I guess, how they just, they meshed well.
Yep.
And
each
how,
of these
like,
hometowns has a bench talk.
Of course.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Said she's falling in love with him. Which, that phrase has lost all meaning for me. it just, everybody says it like.
Well, it's just another way to kind of, I guess it's just a qualifier, basically, sort of being like, yeah, like, I like you, but, like, there are also a bunch of other people that I like, and so, like, we're gonna kind of put a pin in this for now.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I just, yeah, as you know, I'm very skeptical about this whole process, and especially very cynical as well. Here's another question for you. Was it intentional on the producer's part that, like, all these people had at least one white parent?
That's a whole can of worms there.
Is the Bachelor franchise trying to just ease people into the idea of seeing black people on television?
That's what it looks like. I mean, somebody pointed out on Instagram that none of the, I guess, full black contestants got a one-on-one.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting too.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I could tell you, like, who those people were, besides, I guess, like, probably Chelsea and Maggie.
Yeah,
there
Kristen
may have been a couple.
Was another one.
There may have been at least a couple others. Huh. Yeah, I'm sure that is a whole nother can of worms for sure.
Yeah,
but kind of interesting, because I just kept, as we kept going here, I was like, wait, oh, there's another white parent. which of course isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of
No, it's
kind
just
of funny.
Yeah.
Particularly as we have touched on briefly in the past, just the idea of like how the Bachelor has been pretty resistant in the past to having black contestants, black leads, the fact that they don't usually make it very long if they are on the show, and then even just what we touched on about how people have weird views about how dark people's skin is too, and so I don't know if that played into it as well. Like if you are half white, you may be a bit lighter, aka more palatable in quotes.
Yeah.
Which is just so strange to me. I thought that we had gotten past caring about that, but apparently not.
No, especially based on some of the comments I've seen on social media. These contestants of color get the nastiest comments and DMs, like racist stuff written on their pages. It's
why I've never
really
understood DMing anybody about anything.
Yeah, well, these people are bold.
Let alone like if I'm unhappy, like if I saw say a video on YouTube that I didn't like, or I didn't like this person's opinion, like the last thing on my mind would be to make a comment about it, or like try to send them some sort of message. I don't know. I guess it's just a different way of living that's very confrontational, and I don't understand it whatsoever. But maybe one day, because even was Tayshia mixed as well?
Yeah, her dad is black, her mom is Latina.
Okay. I mean, again, not like it really matters, but you were telling me too, right, that they were considering somebody else for this season of The Bachelor too?
Well, actually, instead of Peter, there was this guy named Mike Johnson that a whole bunch of people wanted, but yeah, Mike was probably too black for this show, is what the online consensus is.
Huh. That's so bizarre, Christy. It's so entirely bizarre.
Yeah, it's very strange. But
well, that's the Bachelor universe so far, I guess. We gotta have only absolutely exceptional, just the best black people on this show. We can't have. Can you imagine if they got like a black version of Victoria?
Oh my gosh. That, I mean, you wouldn't even like imagine seeing the comments Victoria got. Like it would have been 1,000 times worse.
Exactly. That's
like I've seen black villains on previous seasons, and it's bad. Like some of them have probably like had to shut down their social media. It's just people get death threats on this show.
Why?
Like literal death threats.
How is anything that important?
People take this show really, really seriously.
I can't
at least some, not the whole audience, but there's a chunk of people who do. It's bizarre.
Well, I guess that goes back to what we were talking about as well, where people on the internet get very angry. And I guess the internet as a whole kind of removes some amount of filter because it's not in person. And so I think that emboldens people to do things that they might be too ashamed to do in person, because you kind of think, oh, it's just on the internet, who cares? Or like it's just on the internet, like nobody's gonna like find out about this, or like whatever the reasoning is. I think it just makes people bolder. Like I can't imagine many of those people who made those comments would actually like go up to those people in real life and threaten to kill them directly or whatever. Like,
no,
it's just kind of cowardly internet behavior. that we end up seeing a lot of, I think. But
I mean, people are even coming at Rachel Lindsay, blaming her for the fact that Chris said those things, calling her a bully, calling her a racist. Like, people have no chill.
Wow, that's quite the hot take, and not a hot take that I can endorse.
No, not at all.
He screwed himself there 100%.
All she did, she just sat back and let him talk. Like, how is this her fault?
Yeah, I mean, it was a 5.5, 6 minute clip, right? And in that she talked for maybe 15 seconds. I'm not really sure how you can blame her for that one. Yeah, I don't know the woman personally or at all. I didn't watch her season. I don't watch her show. But if she got a show, or at least got a segment as a correspondent or whatever, seems like she is at least fairly competent. I mean, you were telling me she was at least trained as a lawyer. I don't know if she ever practiced law, but if
she did.
Yeah. Don't really get the problem there.
No, it's literally her job to ask questions.
Yes, but people don't like that. Well, Rachel's hometown.
It's so weird watching her on screen.
You were not a fan of this date, now were you?
No, not at all. Not because it's Rachel, but because of the skydiving.
Yeah, so they went skydiving. Also, because that was just a whole bizarre lead up, because she was all like, "Oh, do you trust me?" And then she blindfolded him. They get in this weird looking sports car, and then she's just driving down the middle of the road. Though I guess, was that a road or was that a runway that they were on?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Because it might have just been a runway. Because I was thinking about that this morning, because it was just the white stripes, and it did seem to be straight. I don't know.
It didn't look very wide either.
I'm trying to remember if it seemed a bit hilly or not. Because if it was hilly, then I don't think it was a runway. But it did seem to be some amount of straightaway. So I wonder if that actually was a runway. But because she was just driving right down the middle of that thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, man, the guy she was tandem jumping with, looked
Oh, did
like...
he end up on hers?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, we noticed that the instructor looked like he was 12 years old.
You know, it was he was like a toddler. Like...
I didn't even pick up on that's who
she
was paired with.
Yeah, he was the one that was strapped to
no
Rachel.
Wonder.
Look, I feel like we're not really qualified to comment on this instructor's actual capabilities, because I'm sure he was fully licensed. I'm sure he was actually 30 or something.
Yeah, probably. I shouldn't be talking since people always think I'm younger than I am. But.
And it did... I don't know what happened there, because spoiler alert here, people. They basically crashed.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
I don't know. Bad. I don't know if it was user error on the part of the instructor. I think it's easy, given his very, very youthful appearance, to be yeah, he just had never been skydiving before either. But it did kind of look like they caught sort of a rogue wind.
Yeah, it looked windy
there right before they landed, but yeah, they came in real hard.
Yeah, and she ate it. Her face went straight into the ground.
Yeah, and apparently I didn't catch a shot where it showed this, but apparently her face was all bruised up, because she was talking about that later. She's yeah, you can't see because I'm wearing a ton of makeup, but yeah, it's rough. So I think she got it at least a black eye from that, and she was just kind of essentially just like passed out on the ground for a little bit.
Ugh, that did not look good.
No, I think that it's
crash landing there.
And if it was even possible, put you off skydiving even more.
For sure.
I mean, you were saying before they even jumped, you're like, no, why would you do this? The plane's still flying. The plane's still flying. Why would you jump out?
Exactly. It's a perfectly good plane.
Yeah, but it has a door that you can open in the air, so why not jump out of it?
No.
There you go, listeners. The fundamental difference between me and Christy. But yeah, she it was just funny too, because like before she crash landed, they were just, flying around, of course, and she's like, I'm falling for you, man. I'm literally falling for you. And then a minute later, smash. Yeah. Of course, it turned into a very romantic moment, because he just like, as he saw her plummeting to the earth, he just realized how important she was to him and how devastating it would be if he lost her. Oh.
Yeah, and adrenaline will do that to you.
So romantic. Oh.
Yeah, she was so touched by it.
It was quite interesting. I'm glad that she didn't die, but I was joking with you later on in the evening when they were meeting her parents, and she was like talking to her mom. She's like, yeah, like, I have a little internal bleeding. Like, it's fine. But I just gotta, I gotta do this hometown, priorities. Like, I'll go to the hospital later.
Yeah.
Huh.
I guess makeup covers a lot, because she looked fine. But
well,
I wonder if they gave her some painkillers or something.
I mean, probably.
That looked like it hurt.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, if it wasn't hurting later that evening, I'm sure it was very painful the next day.
Yeah,
because she hit pretty hard. But yeah, so they met with both her parents, right?
Yes.
No sisters or anything in this one.
I thought Chris said her sister would be there, but I didn't write down anything with a sister, so maybe not.
I'm trying to remember. Was it like, I don't know, there was like a literal infant sister at one point. That wasn't Bree, though. Or that was, not
That was Bree.
What I was trying to say. I accidentally got that right. I was trying to say that wasn't Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of interesting too. Of course, Dad, very skeptical again. We've seen this before.
Yes. Yeah, Dad's like, difficult to truly care about someone when you're seeing other people. And Matt's like, I'm taking this serious. Like, that's not very reassuring, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just the whole thing. It's like, yeah, it's just happening so fast, and like he's probably just telling this to all the other women.
Yep,
which is
he's not wrong.
Totally true. Totally true.
I also liked the mom. She was like trying to find something negative. She's like, have you seen anything bad? And then Rachel's like, no. And she's like, I'm sure everyone has a bad day.
Yeah, like any red flags? Like, let's not like and I don't know if this is something to talk about either, but you were telling me that people were digging stuff up about Rachel's parents as well.
Yeah, but I never looked at what it was. I know it was just the typical, like, I don't even want to just.
Was it just like, oh my goodness, we found out they like voted for Trump or something?
Probably something like that. Like, whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't look to see, like, people had like dug up like social media posts. Like,
Yeah. If I didn't hate social media purely because of my personality, I would not post because of that.
yeah, and like I don't understand why her parents had public profiles that people could dig into in the first place.
I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. Yeah. This whole thing was kind of funny to me because I guess, and I don't know if you experienced this, but just with all the Rachael stuff happening, it was a little bit maybe at the back of my mind, like, because right, a lot of them were pretty skeptical, but at the same time, it's like, oh, like, are they skeptical for like other reasons?
Yeah, I thought that too, but I didn't want to say it. That's when her mom was like trying to find something bad. I was like,
Yeah, well, that's why you have me, Christy, to say the awkward things that you don't want to say.
Yeah, that definitely was. It's just weird.
Yeah,
watching her.
it crossed my mind, for sure.
Yeah, it's just weird watching her with all the stuff we know, but Matt doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, very bizarre. So then Matt, again, this is, and we've talked about this in other contexts before, but he didn't ask for her dad's blessing to, like...
Oh, yeah, that's usually the Bachelor asks like all 4 dads, if the time comes, do I have permission to marry your daughter? Like, sometimes they do it 4 times.
Oh my
Which is so weird, and like that's why I thought it was like good that he told her, yeah, I didn't ask because there's 4 people still left. But then Rachael was disappointed, and I didn't understand why. Like, wouldn't you want him to wait till it's just you? Like, why does he need to ask that now? It was strange for me.
I don't know, Christy. I don't know. But I think maybe it has to do with how southern they are. That potentially could be part of it.
Yeah.
Because I think that tends to be more of a big feel. It tends to be more of a big thing culturally overall in the South to kind of have that ritual of, yeah, I'm dating this person. Can I have your blessing to marry her? So that may be more of what was feeding into her disappointment.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not special if he asks 4 people.
Christy, none of this is special. Take the wool off of your eyes. None of it's special.
No, but she thinks it is.
Yeah, well, she's wrong. Oh man. Yeah, so then we had Bree next.
Yeah. Yes.
Which was also kind of funny because she was like, this is my revenge for the time that you almost killed me.
Yep. They go riding off-road in a Jeep.
Which, let's be real, that Jeep was way too nice for off-roading.
Yeah.
It was also pretty funny when she's like, yeah, hope I don't flip it.
Well, that would be some skill.
That's the whole thing, right? Like, that was literally the extent of the daytime portion of the date. They, like, went driving through the mud and the beach, and they had a little picnic. Was there literally anything else happened that I've forgotten about? Like,
this also seemed like a very short, like, in terms of screen time, hometown. Like, there's like nothing here really.
Is that foreshadowing for Final 2?
I don't know.
Yes, you do, Christy. I know you know. I know you go on all the back channels. You see this. You see the spoilers. You see the people talking.
I don't want to give anything away.
All right. Well, you have to tell me if I'm right later. But yeah, it was just so short.
Yeah. We met her mom, and
Yeah, another white parent.
yeah, her mom's child, I guess her sister, her infant sister, which is interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
It was quite an age gap.
Yeah, I too. Man, yeah, her mom was a little salty.
I think her mom was a realist. I loved how she said, worst case scenario, we're mending a broken heart here.
or also, she's just like, we know what Matt's been doing. Like,
Yes.
he's been dating. And he's just like, dating your daughter.
That was a good comeback.
Yeah, but completely still owned because she was 100% right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just so much generic stuff, you know, like, oh my goodness, like, are you in love with her? We're just like connecting on such a different level, you know, like we're just firing on all cylinders right now. We're just like sort of like we're becoming one, like, so dumb.
Yeah, it's just same thing over and over again.
None of this is real.
Then afterwards on the bench, I feel like I'm falling in love with you. Matt told her, "Thank you for sharing that with me."
I know. I told you right
Yes,
before it
you
happened.
did.
She's telling you, I'm like, he about to say thank you for sharing that, and
Yep.
10 seconds later,
Right on cue.
Matt, thank you for sharing that.
So predictable.
It's like that. There's gotta be some better way to respond to that.
Well, the thing is, we saw him say it back to Rachael, and I don't think he said that back to anyone else. So therefore, the trying to find a way of like acknowledging they said it, but without saying
Well,
it back.
he said that too. It was Jasenia too. Like, I feel like that's sort of his way of being like it's great you feel that way, but like you're gonna leave soon.
Yeah, that's not a good response.
No, like,
Ugh.
like, can you imagine you're in a relationship, you're just like, I love you, and the guy's just like, thank you for sharing that. Oh, that would be so terrible. That would be so bad.
The Bachelor had this Listen to Your Heart show last year, like at the beginning of quarantine, which was like a combo of The Bachelor and like American Idol or something, where people were like singing, and it was very strange.
Was that done by them? That was like a whole show, wasn't it?
Yeah. And one of the girls said to the guy she was with, something like, "I'm falling for you," or something like that. And he responded with, "That's very courageous. Thank you for speaking your truth."
Oh no. Oh no, that's even worse.
Yeah, it was. She ran off crying, which was very understandable.
That was the proper response to that. That is my
brutal.
Word. That's very courageous. Thank you for sharing your truth. Oh my word. Oh, that's awful. That's so awful. Man, that's real rough. Yeah, I have my suspicions, Christy. I have my suspicions as to final 2 and final 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay attention to what they choose to show you, sometimes they make it pretty obvious.
Yep. Oh, man.
So next is Serena.
Yep, Serena P. The last Serena standing.
Yep. Matt shows up wearing very tight pants. I just have to say, this whole episode, his pants have been so slim. I don't know why I'm pointing this out, but like
I don't either. That's not something that I noticed. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Well, it's why we mesh so well as co-hosts. You notice things and I notice other things.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm gonna ask you that from now on. Whenever we watch The Bachelor, how tight were The Bachelor's pants this week?
Oh, please don't.
No, I mean, I feel like you've brought this upon yourself.
I only notice when it's like abnormal.
Okay, I see. I'm kind of skeptical, Christy. I think you notice their pants all the time. But yeah, this actually. So here's the thing. I actually liked this date. Like, it was kind of cheesy, but at the same time, it was at least like a little bit unique.
Yeah, since she's from Canada.
Yeah, because I'd forgotten that, to be honest.
Me too. I was like, oh yeah, she's from Canada.
I had totally forgotten she was from Canada. But yeah, so I guess, just explain to us what happened, Christy.
Well, they walk into this, I guess, room that is set up like a craft fair or something. There's like a map of Canada, and then she pulls out some flashcards, and she starts quizzing him on Canadian lingo.
Don't forget all the Canadian flags and the moose either, though.
Oh yeah, there was like flags everywhere. Where'd they get all this stuff from? Actually, they're in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Amazon,
I guess. Which means they knew this hometown was happening for a while.
Okay. Okay, I had forgotten about that. I'm sorry, everyone. We're gonna have to take a break. Well, okay.
Yeah, we can stop and do it.
No. Okay. Well, look, I'll put a pin in it. We'll talk about it after the date. But yeah, so they had, she's like, how many points are on the maple leaf and the Canadian flag? And he was like trying to remember when like there were flags everywhere that he could have just looked at. They ate poutine.
I just have to say, the cheese on that poutine looked congealed. like it had been sitting for like 6 hours.
Christy, this is a complicated TV production. Schedules are difficult.
That looked terrible.
Have you ever had poutine?
No. But I've seen it before, and the cheese doesn't usually look like that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's usually, it has a little bit more life.
Yes.
that poutine looked a little corpse-like, if I'm honest. Yeah. And of course, then they I mean, I'm putting this in air quotes. Played hockey.
Yes.
It was the worst hockey that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, well, I think Matt's range of motion was a little hampered.
No. Well, with the pants? Are you talking about the pants again? That may be true. I play hockey. I play hockey terribly. I'm very bad at hockey. But these two took the cake, I have to say.
Yeah. It was a little pathetic, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe they just didn't have time to show this, but it just didn't seem like she was any good at skating either. Which was very disappointing since she was from Canada.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't see very much of it, I guess, but
yeah, probably I would say definitely the most memorable of the daytime portions here in hometowns. Everything else was just kind of bleh, bleh, bleh. But yeah, so remind me, who did she have? She had her mom, dad, and sister?
Yes, I think so.
Anything notable from this?
I think the chat with her sister was the most memorable because she told her there's something missing. You don't seem smitten. You're in your head. She was worried about her making a mistake, which was all true, as it turns out. But
yeah,
I just thought it was interesting that the sister picked up on all of that. She didn't do the typical, like, oh, you guys look like you're so in love, like a lot of family members do. So
I think the tantric yoga broke Serena B.
Yeah.
She was just like, is he gonna want to do tantric yoga in the future? I just can't. I can't. Too much groin to groin.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the end.
I would agree with you. Yes. It really was. Again, another white parent.
Yes, I think her mom is. Oh, I forget now what her ethnicity is.
Or like, I guess not black, potentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to say like South Asian or something.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I thought it was funny. Her dad said engagement is a very strong commitment.
I mean, he's not wrong. I don't know how much they talked her out of it, or how much she was just already like kind of over it.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk of doubts and confusion and not generally what you want to be saying leading up to an engagement.
Even an engagement that was following like 7 weeks of getting to know somebody.
Not even then.
Wow. Incredible. Yeah, she's just a lot of doubt, a lot of struggle, a lot of internal problems and battles and everything. I guess this is still Serena P, so I'll talk about this before I go to what I was actually going to talk about when I rudely interrupted you. But I found it a little funny where Chris was talking with Matt like after these hometowns, and he's like, yeah, any red flags or whatever? I forget exactly his wording, and Matt's like, Serena P, man. Like I've just given her like as much as I can, you know. I just don't know where she's at.
Yeah, I'm kind of honestly surprised he didn't just break up with her at the end of his hometown date with her, because
Me too.
I've never seen.
I thought he was going to be honest with you.
It was very odd. Like, I've never seen quite that much turmoil.
I thought he was gonna break up with her after the tantric yoga.
Yeah, that too.
So this is kind of a long time coming. But yeah, so before we divert to that just heartbreaking moment, so I want to revisit this because you made this comment last night kind of offhandedly a little bit, and I was like, wait a minute. What are you saying here? So tell me your theories about the hometowns this season.
Yeah, so with COVID, the families showed up like in sequential order. Like right after, I guess that's the last rose ceremony we had, and Chris comes in and says your families are already here, which means they've been quarantining for probably like 5 days doing COVID tests.
And so, he only told that to these 4, right?
Yeah. So that means there's travel time involved. So those families probably left home like a week ago. And I don't think
in Bachelor timing, not
like in actual days.
But yeah, sorry. I was just psyching myself out here to think, yeah, obviously like not now because it's already happened a while ago at this point. But yeah, an entire week is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I don't think like they brought Jasenia's family out or Piper's family, even though those two just got eliminated, which means Matt probably knew his final 4.
So you're saying this entire thing has been rigged from the start.
Not from the start, but they had to have contacted families to come out long before there were only 4 people left. So that means those last few people who were eliminated, that was just a foregone conclusion, I'm guessing.
That is scandalous.
Now, unless we hear, like, Abigail's family say, yeah, we went out to Nemacolin, then I'll retract it. But
okay,
or Jasenia or anybody else.
This is qualified by, maybe we don't have in the entire full picture, but that is quite interesting to consider, because with COVID there's a whole lead time that isn't normally necessary.
Yeah, like, I don't think we had like 8. Do you remember last week we had like 8 people?
Yeah, it went down real fast.
There's no way they brought 8 families out. And those people would have all been eliminated within that last week.
Yeah, man. I am shocked. I'm reeling, Christy. I don't know how to deal with this information.
Yeah, I've heard people say that the leads generally know who their top few are pretty early on.
Just means that the rest of it is just going through the motions.
Yep, just leading
hurting people maliciously.
Yes.
I wish I didn't know. I want my innocence back, Christy. I want my innocence back.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, my word. Can't believe that. Yeah, that's some interesting insights and theories you have there, Christy. I am devastated.
Well, we go to...
Yeah, walk us through this conversation.
Matt and Serena. He decides to go to her room, which this is also a new thing. I've never seen somebody get dumped like right before Hometown's rose ceremony. This is very strange. He goes to her room and Serena basically dumps him, which this is so weird. Like, usually it's the other way around, but she talks more about doubts and just says, "You're not my person." And Matt just like kind of nods and like long pause and says, I don't know, sucks to hear that. He did tell her he noticed something was off, so it shouldn't have been a complete shock to him.
And also, like, did it really suck for him? Like, I feel like he would have gotten rid of her anyway.
Yeah. Yep. He didn't have to do it himself.
Yeah, there's just so much impression management on this show, like just constant impression management. Where it's just like, yeah, like, oh man, this is so terrible, blah blah blah. Oh, thank God I don't have to like not give you a rose later.
Yeah, but he has to act like it's devastating.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
And I thought it was really funny that Serena said, "Can I walk you out?" or something. Like she reversed it.
Oh, girl power. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So, what a pitiful rose ceremony.
Yeah, I've seen this before, where somebody gets eliminated beforehand and they still like go through the motions of handing out the roses.
It was also funny too how they're all like standing there, like still like in that row, and they're just like, cause they were all like 3 feet from each other at least, and they're just like turning to the side. Is it, oh my God, where's is it? Oh my goodness, is Serena like? Is Serena P like? Is she coming? Like back and forth. Like, why do we need this? I guess gotta heighten the drama, even though we all know she's gone already.
Yeah, well, they didn't know yet, so normally...
I know, but why maintain the charade?
I don't know, for drama.
Yeah.
No other reason.
Yeah, ridiculous. Poor Chris didn't get to come in, touch the Bachelor on the back, and say, Matt, ladies, this is the final rose. Didn't get the opportunity.
Nope.
Which is just so sad. So sad. Yeah, that very, very pitiful rose ceremony.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you already totally spoiled the end tag where Matt ended up breaking his bicycle, so I guess we don't need to talk about that. So, in a, I was going to say perfect world, but The Bachelor exists, so this is definitely not perfect world. But normally, Women Tell All would be next week.
It is, yeah.
I mean, allegedly, it's still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then we get the fantasy suites, and then the conclusion.
I feel like fantasy suites are actually usually the next week. Are they doing out of order this year?
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know where I don't know where the women or men, depending on the type, when that episode happens.
Actually, this is out of order. Normally, Women Tell All happens between fantasy suites and the finale, I think.
So why? Why is this happening?
I'm not sure. Who knows?
Just changing everything up on us.
Do we have a kiss count?
Yes, we do have a kiss count. Of course. How dare you? How dare you say that I might not have a kiss count? I do. We have another record, Christy. After a pretty dry episode last time. Only 10 kisses. I mean, what were they thinking? This episode, we had 15 kisses.
Wow.
Yeah.
A new record.
Yep, a new record. Unfortunately for... Was it... Actually, it was Rachael. Rachael only got 2 kisses.
Interesting.
Very,
that they showed us.
Well, okay. Fine. I acknowledge my kiss counter can only go off of the potentially flawed record that I have, which is the footage that they show. I cannot control any kisses that happen off screen. Yeah, I think we're still well on track for 100 kisses, because currently we are at like, we gotta be over like 70 by now.
Well, the Women Tell All will be a dry week.
So maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, because we're currently at like 75.
We may still make it there. There will be plenty during Fantasy Suites week.
Yeah. So yeah, because there'll still be 3 people then.
Yes.
Yeah, we could. I don't know, Christy. We may only make it to like 95 or something. It might be close. It might be close. Huh. Well, again, I will say that we still have our email, groupdatespod@gmail.com. Send us any comments or questions. We will at least get back to you. Maybe even read questions on the show. We love our faithful listeners who tune in every week to listen to us talk about this gem of television. And I shouldn't be... Here's the thing. If I ever get canceled, it's not going to be because I said racist things. It's not going to be because of like anything like that. It's just because I am so mean. I'm mean to everyone. That is why I would get canceled.
Sometimes I'm right there with you.
Yes, but you have the good sense generally not to say the mean things. That's the whole situation. That's the whole thing. I'm like the Chris Harrison of meanness. Chris Harrison may be the Chris Harrison of defending racism, but I'm the Chris Harrison of being mean. Yeah, there are some comments that I might be a little ashamed if the contestant found out about. Thinking of Victoria specifically, I said some pretty mean things about Victoria.
I doubt she's listening to this.
No, I mean, definitely not. But you never know. Victoria, if you're listening, it's great to have you here. I definitely didn't mean when I said, like, the first episode that you don't seem like someone who contributes much to society. I didn't mean that. I was just hurt by the show and I lashed out. I'm sorry. Well, do you have any final words for us, Christy?
No, just thanks for listening.
Yes, as always, thank you for listening. This has been Group Dates and Hot Takes, a Bachelor Nation podcast. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy, and we'll see you